I was on mute because I'm brilliant. Um, okay, good. Yay, that worked. Hey, it's ironic. How are you? Good morning. Hi, Okie. Hi. Okay. So, not not a whole lot for you tonight, but I just wanted to chime in like everybody else about the crap that's been happening here on YouTube. And I also wanted to do a little clarification because when I do my peopling series, whether it's about emotional regulation or about oh displacement, emotional displacement, that kind of thing, I wanted to let you know that it's a generalized thing, not directed at anybody. It's not meant to, fix anything. All of those things are meant to bring some ideas to the surface that whether it's me or you or somebody else, you know, that we can think on these things. And if somebody has main character syndrome and they think everything's about them, then maybe it is. I don't know. But on the whole, it's just me sharing my heart and, helping us all to look at ourselves and the world around us and try to understand it a little bit more. So that's off the table. And then, second thing is that, everybody's up in arms because Moon said nasty things about elevated truth. And yeah, they're nasty. They are so vile. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of like if you know, you know. I'm not going to go into it. Soup did something on it. Jamal Unleashed did something on it. It's been all over the interwebs. And so I'll drop some links later on in case you're not caught up on that. But the thing is that what I wanted to say is that it was Will. Hi, Mystery. It was vile. Yeah, it was vile. But here's the thing, okay? It's not new. This is not something new. Stuff like this has been going on at least for the last year. It's like we're on toboggans sliding down a hill of poo. Oh, no problem. Long day. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. I love my mods. Yeah, it's like we're on a toboggan sliding down a hill of poo because it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And I've seen people blame certain creators. It wasn't like this until so and so came along. No, it was. It was like this. It's just gotten worse because, and it used to be kind of a joke over on Deet's channel that the goalpost is on a Roomba. Whatever the standards are or whatever the rules were was moving around. Hi, Daisy asks. Hi, Amy. How are you, sweetheart? That the goalpost was on a Roomba, that it just kept getting moved all over the place. You didn't know where it was going to be, and nobody knew what's going on. And I've said for a long time now that the goalpost is dead. The goalpost is as dead as the HOA. There is no goalpost anymore. And the problem that I have, you voiced your opinion on your wall. Good job. That I've been saying for a long time is that we don't seem to understand that these are all humans. Everybody that everybody else is talking about are humans. The people that don't agree with you, that you're trying to destroy their reputation and their character and going real life on them and bringing up stuff from their past and all that stuff, you're talking about a human being. And the whole golden rule thing is that you're supposed to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And evidently, a lot of y'all out there want to be treated like shit. That's how you want to be treated because that's how you treat other people. It's all wrong. Hey, Burton. Hi, honey. I was disgusted to hear the other side better speak up on this because this is wrong. But it wasn't wrong when that said side made absolutely disgusting comments themselves about another. Exactly, sweetheart. And that's the whole thing. It's like the hypocrisy coin. But the thing is that they get both sides. They get both sides of the coin. It doesn't matter if it's heads or tails, they're right. They're right in what they're thinking because whoever they're talking about, they don't like. And it's bad. I mean, I don't agree with any of it. I never have. I've talked out about it on my channel. And, like I said at the beginning here, in case you missed it, I'm just, whatever I share here is to make us think. To make us think. Yeah, hypocrisy is rampant in the true crime world. I know what you've been through, Amy. It's horrible. I'm I'm speechless. So where's the grandma hug emoji? Oh, I don't know, honey. I don't know. I don't think I've changed emojis. Squirrel. Okay. Grandma's brain leaving on track 12. Grandma's brain leaving on track 12. What was I talking about? Oh, gotcha. Back on that all aboard. Okay, so when a creator shares something, when they're talking about a subject, maybe it's interpersonal violence, or maybe it's sexual abuse, or 100 other things. It could be depression and suicidal thoughts. Whatever the thing is, if a creator shares these things with their people, it's to help the people listening. Because when we're going through those things, and society as a whole has shamed us into silence, has shamed all victims into silence, because as a child I was abused, I was molested, and I told my family and nobody believed me. And then when I was raped by a Marine when I was 18 years old, no, I didn't report it to the police because my friends made it seem like, well, if you didn't drink with them, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah. So when things like these are shared online, we do that to let everyone know that we're not alone. There are other people that have gone through that, and it often gives people courage to speak about their trauma or to go seek therapy or something. I'm kind of ignoring chat right now, guys, because I'm just a squirrel. I'm just a squirrel in the road right now. So, but here's the thing. For somebody else who doesn't like you to use that as a weapon against you, no, that's just wrong. That's just absolutely wrong. Because who? Sorry. It's not yours. It's not yours to do. If you're out there doing those kind of things, and to be honest with you, the way I see it, I'm team everyone sucks. Everyone sucks because I have not seen one of these victims or one of these people that have gone live and said horrible things about other people. Not one of them has clean hands. Not one of them have clean hands. I've had Judy things said about me too. Do you see me on here saying all kinds of things about the people and giving responses and all that? No. You know why? Because it's crickets. It's crickets. I know what the truth is. I know where I stand. I have my boundaries. I'm not here to stir up shit. I'm here hopefully to bring something good to the community. I'm here to bring stupid tinfoil hat stuff, things that make you go, I'm here to bring, awareness to autism and the things that we go through with that. I'm here to make you laugh, make you think, be curious with you, I'm not here for drama, especially YouTube drama. So when people say, I don't give a fuck, but, they're on a 5-hour live stream not giving a fuck, to me, that says there's lots of fucks to be given. Because no fucks doesn't last 5 hours. No fucks might be not saying anything, might be a community post. It's not 5 hours, and it's not multiple days on end. And again, this is not directed at somebody because it applies to a whole lot of somebodies. Hey, Mustang. So if we took a poll of society, but specifically YouTube, if we took a poll and we said things like, is interpersonal violence bad? People would say, yes, it's bad. And if we, dug a little bit deeper and we said, are there any circumstances where interpersonal violence is warranted, if it's okay, it's justified? Most people would say no. Shouldn't be beaten up on the ones you love. Same thing. If we said, is child molestation or trafficking, is that okay? Unanimous. People would say, no, it's not okay. But where are those standards when it comes to weaponizing those things against somebody you don't like? So, like I said, the goalpost is not on a Roomba. The goalpost is dead. It's like that line they said, how low can they go? I thought, it was just like a chalk line, a very light chalk line on the ground, and people could barely see it anymore. That's where it would. No, they done dug halfway down to China by now on how low can we go. I'm sorry, y'all. Like I said, I was squirreling out. So, there are people pushed to harming themselves due to other people's cruelty. I don't get it. Why would anyone want to cause that harm to others? Exactly. But the same people say, we're not bullies. No, we're not bullies. We're not bullies because we're standing on what's right. What we're saying is the truth. And to use a term that was thrown around quite a bit for a while is ad hominem. When you lose track of the actual subject of a debate or a conversation, that's when you start attacking a person. When we start pulling personal information, when we start, calling CPS, when we start doing all of these things is when you have lost. There is nothing in the world worth you being right. Double down just to make sure that you're right. See, I told you so. I was right. Who cares? Who cares? Oh, the shame is us internalizing the injustice. It's not fair. Hiya, go. How many? And the stigmas have kept victims and survivors silent for far too long. It doesn't make sense, and it's become vile in so many ways. And usually there's no reason for them to actively dislike you. They just decide you're not one of their group and think that gives license to mock people. And that's the whole thing. You might have an opinion about something and they don't see it the same way. And what gets even worse, you both could agree on something. Like, for instance, no, I'm not going to use that. But Richard Allen from Delphi. There are people who think 100% they got it right. He's in jail, blah. And then there are other people, and Michelle After Dark is one of them, that says, nah, not so much. Maybe not. Maybe not. So you could be on the same side of the thing saying, well, maybe he's innocent. People think that with Chris Watts, not that he's innocent, but that there was way much more to that case. And that's why JS for Justice and some of the other channels wanted him to have a trial, because they wanted to see something more to come out of it. And then, even though you both agree, Nicole B., I love you. Even though they both agree, they're going to tear into each other because somebody's got to have the biggest piece of the carcass meat. And to my way of thinking, this isn't nothing but for money. It's all money. It seems the worse it gets, the more it pays. And to be honest with you, I saw that Queen Bee said that she's tired. It's not fun anymore. She's not going to go after Brittany J anymore. And, that's kind of like an answer to my prayers, because I pray for all of them. I do, because I don't believe on the bullying stuff. And, like 27 channels is the number that I counted that were doing something against allegedly with Brittany J. 27. And I had a list somewhere, but channels going after allegedly with Brittany J. And to me, that doesn't say correcting something or misinformation or whatever. To me, that says gravy train. Hi, Nightbot. It's never okay. Down deep, they know what is right, but so many are in a deep hole they don't want to get out, or they can't get out. They can't get out. And that's why I'm so glad that Queen Bee said, she doesn't want to do it anymore. And I really applaud her for that. And I'm glad that her litigation is over with Bullhorn Betty. Whether you think she won, or whether you think they both dismissed it because it's just a waste of time, or whatever the thing is, it's done. It's been 2.5 years worth of stress for her and for everybody else in her community. Hi, Hoodie. Honey. Oh, burden. Used to being ignored. It's normal, and I just talk and talk, off with no one listening. Sweetheart, I listen. You know that. I love you. Oh, you have a fur baby and you communicate too. LG, hi, honey. Yeah, our pets will always be there for us. I'm almost caught up in chat. I'm only 2 minutes behind. Steph B is here. Hi, Steph B. Hey, so basically, that's all I wanted to say. That's all I wanted to say is that, and I think some of the frustration, and I hear it in some of these creators, they know that what they're doing is wrong and it feels bad, but dang, it pays good. Not only does it pay good, but it's what their chat wants. It's what you subscribers that go in there and stir up the crap. That's what you want. They're going to give you what you want. Heck, I know that. Me and my 92 subscribers or whatever, my 13 people that come into my live streams, I know that. I want to talk to you guys about what you want to talk about. What are you interested in? I ask you on my community posts all the time. I'm in I do things that I want, whatever. It is what it is. But anyway, so blah. What do you guys think? Am I off the chain? Am I just barking in the dark? Jerry Springer show is what I think about with the drama channels. Yeah, a really bad Jerry Springer show. I mean, Sally Jesse Raphael and Maury Povich and Jerry Springer and Howard Stern and all those things. It was like, we've been through shock jock stuff before, and it just seems like it's had a reincarnation here on YouTube. Yeah, it's all crazy, Nicole. And I'm going to be honest with you. If things were all just peace and love and hunky-dory, and, we're all just skipping through flower fields, holding hands, singing Kumbaya, people find that boring. Actions speak louder than words. I'm holding off to give any credit or applause. I've been duped far too many times on this platform by just taking people for their word, but I hope for positive results. Exactly. Yes, Bigfoot hunters, paranormal shows, and a nice cup of coffee. You see, that's kind of my alley right there. I like the weird stuff. I do. I love the weird stuff. And, there's something else that Moon had said, because Elevated Truth evidently is autistic. And she said that he had a shitty autistic brain. You know what? Every high-functioning autist that I've met is kind of fucking brilliant. They don't have shitty brains. We might be kind of jerks because we're black and white at times. We're very blunt. But that brain ain't shitty. Not a shitty brain. I actually have a live I'm going to do. I've been working on it for quite a while. Not as diligently as I should. But it's called Autism versus Asshole. I think now's a good time to bring that out. Don't you? But here's the thing. We're at 25 minutes. I'm going to do this real quick because people have been talking about this in my chat. This is a new segment I call True Crime on a Dime. Boom, boom. Okay, so what I saw today, one of the first things that popped up on autism, so the recent case. No, we can do that before I do true crime. What's up? Want to do that now? Or you want to talk to me later? We can talk about it later, babe. You know how to get a hold of me, Bird. Bobby. Okay, good. Gonna do it again. Here we go. True crime on a dime. Okay. If you remember, about 4 months ago, there was a story of 3 little girls that were found with bags over their heads in the forest. Their dad came and picked them up for a non-custodial parental visit. He was living, well, he was kind of getting settled, and so mom had full-time custody. He wasn't allowed to have him overnight. So, he was just going to pick him up, take him to McDonald's, bring him back by 8 o'clock. They didn't come back. So by, an hour or so after the time they were supposed to be dropped off, mom called the police, reported the girls missing. Well, they found the girls, Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia, in a forest, and they were not alive. And their dad's truck was there. There was some blood on the truck, but no dad. So there's been a manhunt for him. Well, as they've been out searching for this guy, his name was Travis Decker. Okay. They found some clothes that kind of matched his, and they found some bones. So they said, okay, probably Travis Decker. But, we've sent it off for DNA analysis because guy was kind of wily. He was kind of smart about some of the things that he was doing. And I really wondered if he put his clothes by somebody else's bones just to throw them off so he could get away. But nope, it's him. So I'm going to share this with you. This link is in.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming here. We're coming full circle. We're looking about 4 months ago. We were just sitting here breaking the news about this tragic situation of the deaths of Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia. And today I stand before you again with news that we have received our DNA results back from the Washington State Patrol's crime lab from the items that were recovered last week. That would be the clothing and also the human remains. We are glad to say that those remains do come back as a positive match for Travis Decker.
Boom. Positive match. The let me drop this link in here. Like I said, it's in the description. If you guys, where's my StreamYard? If you guys want to watch the whole press conference, oh, he's handsome. Yes, arrest me, Sergeant Honey. Very handsome fella. Hi, Paige Turner. Hi. Did I miss anybody? If I did, I'm sorry. Yeah. So boom, Travis Decker is officially gone. Travis Decker officially gone. The other part of my true crime on a dime, because last night Brantley was asking me if I'd heard about the yogurt shop. They solved the yogurt shop murders, and I'd heard something about it. What? I cried about the girls and mom as well. I have a strong feeling that the lack of resources for our vets. I've wanted to discuss him as well as the last 3 vets to commit horrific crimes. Yeah. It's true. And Burden, while we're there, before I go on to yogurt shop, I just wanted to touch on that very, very briefly, because what you're saying about the lack of resources for our veterans. Now, my son was in the Army, okay, and he was supposed to go over to Afghanistan, but had an emergency with his wife, so his friend was sent in his place. And his friend ended up dying because of an IED. And my son has PTSD because of that. Not just because that the friend died in his place, but the training that they go through is traumatizing. And I don't quite understand it. Well, I do. Okay, I do. Because our brain is something that nobody understands. Because if you've ever seen a picture of a brain, it's just this pink gooey thing. And then somehow there's electrical currents that happen within all that meat that makes emotions, it makes thoughts, it's creativity, it's love. Oh, the wait with the VA mental health can take so long. Yeah. But so we have psychiatrists and all this other stuff and whatnot, and nobody really understands how that works. I mean, for crying out loud, they even have a therapy now that kind of looks like, this weird hat thing that they put on like a helmet with electrodes in it. And it's kind of like electroshock therapy for 2025, bougie electroshock therapy. They're still doing that, trying to shock specific areas of the brain. Now, they are, I think, making some strides forward with things like EMDR, right? Eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, which a lot of people just say, hey, that's fabulous. But honestly, right now, the majority of healthcare is throwing some kind of, chemical at them. Here's the medicine. Take the medicine. Oh, really helped one of your friends? Good to hear. Yeah. I haven't done EMDR, but you've heard me say 1,000 times I did CBT. But no, so there's a lot to that burden. It's not to say that what he did wasn't horrible, and like the guy that shot up the LDS church yesterday, set it on fire with people in there. He's a veteran. He was a veteran. He is now deceased. And I've seen things come out today about him. I don't have any resources to show you about him because I wasn't going to talk about it, but hey, look, naturally flowed into it. But yeah, he was a veteran. And I can't imagine. What is that? Survivor's guilt and PTSD. My boyfriend watches at least one vet on his Facebook friends that he served with lose their lives. The numbers are devastating. And it breaks my heart. This is wrong how our vets are neglected. Yes. Oh, the EKG, you had to go through that as a child. No shocks. Trying to see if your brain was missing the signals. Exactly. And this would be a great time to just, veer off into weird shit that grandma talks about with an Apple copyright or a patent that I found. But anyway, I don't want to do that. Let's go to the yogurt. Your husband is vet. Thank you for the service. Thank you for his service. So the yogurt shop murder case was solved. So old-fashioned detective work and advances in forensic science led to the identification of a suspect in the killings of 4 teenagers in Austin, Texas in 1991. There's the pictures of the girls. So Detective Daniel Jackson of Austin, Texas. Police investigated the 1991 murders of 4 teenage girls at a frozen yogurt shop since 2022. That's when they handed it off to him. I'm sure it went cold, then they gave it. By Christine Hauser. More than 3 decades after 4 teenage girls were found bound, gagged, and murdered inside a frozen yogurt shop in Austin, Texas, investigators and officials on Monday described years of relentless, old-fashioned detective work and advances in DNA. Hi, Pookie. Good to see you, hon. Advances in DNA technology that finally led them to a suspect. Detectives processed hundreds of DNA tests and sorted through thousands of tips. Shell casings were examined, and more than a dozen forensic laboratories were consulted. Examples that would help unlock the case were taken from fingernails, an ice cream scoop, and a belt buckle. Crimes in other states, including Tennessee, Kentucky, and South Carolina, were reviewed for possible links. Last week, officials announced a breakthrough. They had identified a man, Robert Eugene Brashers, who they said was responsible for the murders, which had baffled detectives and haunted Texas's capital city since 1991. At a news conference on Monday, which relatives of the victims attended, officials said they were still investigating elements of the case, which became known as the yogurt shop murders. Mr. Brashers died in 1999, days after shooting himself during a standoff with police in Missouri. He was 40 years old. So the identified of Mr. Brasher as a subject was a significant breakthrough in the decades-long effort to solve a horrible crime, he said, that changed the city forever. They called it devastating haunting. The only physical evidence recovered from the yogurt shop has been matched to Mr. Brasher's, who she said was connected to other murders and sexual assaults across the country. Had to sneeze, sorry. Other ones across the country. Okay, I'm going to drop this so y'all can read all that, because this is just true crime on a dime. Boom, boom. Okay. Ooh, we got that one. Let's remove that. Okay. Dee-ba-dee-ba-dee. Oh, yay. Typo Club. Welcome. What's Burden saying? Still don't hear anyone mention the prior National Guard who also committed a mass killing at a casino in Texas the same night as the vet in North. Ooh, I haven't heard of that one. See? There's so many things going on. Just crazy stuff. Okay. Anybody else following the D4VD case, the David case? So just as a real quickie, so in the Hollywood Hills, there was a Tesla that had been parked on the street, totally legal to park it on the street, no problem whatsoever. Kind of dirty, kind of had some damage to it. And, neighbors walking their dogs, driving past, car still there. So after a while, people walking around it kind of smelled something weird. And they thought, well, whatever. It's probably a squirrel or something that died somewhere nearby. It's not a big thing. It's the Hollywood Hills. They're coyotes. They leave bodies of animals everywhere. No big thing. So after a while, kind of unsure how long, but neighbors, called the police and said, I think this car is abandoned. And so the LAPD have this rule that a car can't be abandoned, quote, unless it's been there for 72 hours or more. So what they do is they come out, they ticket it, and they mark the tires. And then they come back. It's supposed to be the next day, but the first time they went out was like, toward the end of August. Okay. So they had a few days, and then it was Labor Day. And then they ended up going back out. The car's still there, so they mark it again. So they end up towing this car like September 3rd. And yeah, it kind of smells bad, but like I said, there's stuff that dies all around there, so it's no big deal. So anywho, they end up towing it. It's down at the tow yard, And then, so the people in the tow lot said, this thing stinks. It's in the tow yard. So obviously there's not dead animals in the tow yard. This is unique to this thing. So they call the police. Police come out. They open up the front trunk, which is called a frunk on a Tesla. And they find a plastic bag. And inside they found a severely decomposing girl. Well, the girl was later identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And lo and behold, TMZ was kind of working on it because that car was registered to a musician who was kind of up and coming. He started, playing Fortnite online and then started making his own music. And then he was signed to a contract when he was 17. Now he's 20. He was actually out doing a concert tour when he was notified that, hey, we found the girl in your trunk. And according to police, he didn't even know his car was missing because he had been on tour. Long story short, there's a lot of details, a lot of up and down and all that stuff. But Celeste was 13 years old when she went missing. So when the police found her, it was on the day before her 15th birthday. So the police found her on September 6th. She would have turned 15 September 7th. So that's just true crime at a time, catching you up. But here's the thing. Her autopsy is done. And this is from TMZ. TMZ confirms that Celeste Rivas was not pregnant. This shuts down the theory that the D4BD David killed her and put her body in his Tesla because she was pregnant. The cause of death is still unknown. It's still being deferred. They sent off for toxicology because she was so decomposed that they couldn't really tell how she died. Emmy is waiting for toxicology reports. That was her missing poster. She was last seen, she lived in Lake Elsinore in California. I used to live in Lake Elsinore for a few months. When I lived there, it was kind of depressing. But anyway, so at least we know she was not pregnant because if you remember, I said David was 20. She was about to turn 15. So more than likely, she was living with him since she went missing last March. Yeah. Oh, yay. Thanks for subbing to Burden. When are you going live, Burden? Hoping to push myself to do a quick live tonight. I was considering touching on these and others. Since I've had so many thoughts on them, not sure I want to mix it up with the main case. Ooh. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Thank you. True crime on a dime. New segment here on the Grandma Sherry Show. Yes, thank you for being with me tonight. As I say always, can we just try to do human better? If we can just affect one person, just one person, starts with ourselves. If we can make somebody else's life a little better, smile at them, make them feel a little bit happy, whatever, isn't that all there is to it? Who had access to that ugly truck? Ugly truck. Are we talking about David's Teslas? David's Tesla that Celeste was found in? It wasn't a truck. Let me see. Here we go. Let me show you. This was David's Tesla that they found her in. Car and driver. See, kind of a sporty little dude. Here, visit fine. Visit fine. Here, this is what they look like. Only his was black and like super dirty. Super, super dirty. So, by the way, these used to be called gull wings when they were on DeLoreans and cars like that, Ferraris. Tesla has to call them falcon wings. But because each one of the tires is driven by its own little motor, there's nothing up front. So that's why they have a front trunk. And they call it a frunk because it's the front trunk. Just trying to see here. This is the Model X. The car is worth about $105,000. I guess it was like a 2023 version. But that's where they found her. She'd been there quite a while. I have all kinds of details about that. If you guys are interested in that, I'll be happy to do a little more. Oh, you used to make seals for Teslas? How cool is that? Yeah, the trucks are fugly. We got a ton of them around here. In the frunk. That's right. Okay, babies, let's do human better. I love you all. And if you need help, got any questions, whatever, helpline's always, always, always in my video description in the about section. And if Burden decides that she's going live, I will see you over there because I'm totally excited for that. Love you guys. Oh, dude, I just looked at my calendar. Today is Veterans of Foreign Wars Day. It's VFW Day. Thank you for your service to our country. I love you all. Bye.